you guys, how's it going? This is Charity from Scrapfaire Knits. It has been quite a while. I want to say it was February or March the last time we talked, but it was probably January. I have had a lot happen, and we'll get into that towards the end of the show. But hi, I'm Charity with Scrapfaire Knits. This is my tiny little corner of the interwebs, and welcome. Everyone is welcome here, and if you don't like the show, then you can leave noisily or unnoisily, that's fine, but you don't have to be here. And if you want to hear what I have to say and chat with me, that's great, and if not, that's great too. Thanks for stopping by to check me out. Today is, I'm trying to remember what day it is. It is the 29th of October. Yes, it's Tuesday the 29th of October. It looks like it's going to be a beautiful day outside. Sunday was very rainy, and yesterday I got to not go outside, so I didn't, and that was great. I live in Northern Virginia. I live in Reston, which is considered part of the greater Washington, D.C. area, but I always say I live in Virginia. My mom tells people I live in D.C. most of the time, which is fine too. I do have a finished object to share with you today. I am wearing a previous finished object. This is one of my most worn things. It's called the Genesis Wrap. The pattern is by Lolo Did It, and this was made with a set of her little Lolos, which are her mini skeins that you can find in her shop. When I got my set, it was called the New Year's Eve set, but I think it got renamed. But if you need help, Lauren can help you pick these colors, and it was a set of the bright colors and then also a little Lolo in, that's Coal Miner's Daughter. She actually has a darker charcoal now. And I have another finished shawl that I wanted to wear that is also by Lolo Did It. And I can't find it. I'm really upset about it, but I'm hoping that just means I left it at work because I've been wearing it a whole lot. And it's her latest shawl that came out. And I'm a terrible person because I didn't look that up, but I'll look it up and put it in the screen because you should check it out. It's a fun and easy shawl. And she has, no, it wasn't her newest one. It was her next to the last one, which she brought out to go with her Impressionist Color Club that she is doing monthly. I didn't get the Impressionist Color Club, but I did knit it out of a skein. I knitted out of two skeins that had been hoarding forever. Fairy Pools and Blackberry Jam in the Dreamy Base, which is so soft, you guys. It has cashmere. I think it has silk and merino. It's so lovely, and I love that shawl, and I've been wearing it all the time, and I'm super bummed that I couldn't put my hands on it this morning. It's just because I decided if I'm going to podcast, I need to do it right now before I chicken out because I miss it. And anyway, I have been participating in Amy Florence's Festive sock along, and I did finish my first pair of Festive socks. I love these. I'm sorry, I have a little bad place here. That's me. That's not the pattern. These are the Lazy Afternoon socks by Tracy Miller. That's Tracy of the Grocery Girls fame. I love this pattern. So pretty. And this yarn is by the Cozy Knitter. It's the Holly Jolly colorway on the Glitz base, which is her gold glitter base. I think this is the sparkliest yarn I've ever knit with. I have some more really sparkly yarn, but this is the most sparkly yarn I've ever knit with. And I think they are super festive. And they're not super matchy-matchy, but like one of them I did more toe decreases than the other because I thought I stopped at 16, but apparently I went down to 12. But it doesn't matter. They're for me. I don't mind if they don't exactly match. They look pretty close. Just looking at them like this. I know they got off because my first sock, for some reason, I work in a tax office, and I cast these on the second day of October. And we have tax season in the fall. We have it in the spring and the fall here in the U.S. because if you don't file your taxes by April 15th, then you get until October 15th, and I work in a tax office. I do not prepare taxes, but I am the person who actually files them for people. I hit the button on the software basically, and I make sure I have all the stuff back I need to file them. But anyway, I got real stressed out, and I started knitting so tightly that I had to actually pull back half of one of these socks, and I know which one it is. It is this guy. So I had knit the whole sock, and then I could barely get my foot in it because I was like 10 or 11 stitches per inch down here from like my 8 or 9 up here, and it was just too tight. It was like squeezing the life out of my foot, and so I had to rip back. I went ahead, I finished the sock, I did all of the second sock, and then I went back and ripped back up to here, and then reknit the sock and just finished this week. And I love them. I love the little roll. Oh, the mini roll on top of the cuff. Anyway, that's my first pair of festive socks for the Festive Sock Along that Amy Florence is hosting on the Stranded podcast. And I had already cast on and knit most of a second sock because I needed some stockinette in my life when I realized I was knitting that sock way too tight. So this is an Arnie and Carlos sock, and for some, I don't know. I'm going to show you the label. That is what the label looked like, and for some reason I thought, with the exception of oh, well, the purple is, it's really blue on the label and not purple. But I was like, oh, this looks super festive. These will be great holiday socks. And I made a man sock, which is fine. So they're going to be a birthday gift for my friend Joshua. But they don't look as festive knit up as I don't think they look like the picture, but I don't know, you guys. The sock yarn, I love knitting with Reggio for socks. I think it's great. But so that's a hoe, and it's a festive sock because it has red and green in it, so I'm counting it as a festive sock. And I am this far through the second one, so these will be finished in time for the Festive Sock Along. I'm super excited about that. And because those, I was pretty sure those were going to be as a gift. My friend's birthday is December 1st, and he doesn't watch this, so I gave him a pair of socks one year, and he loved it. I have, you can see, these are West Hi, Hippie Nikki. West Yorkshire Spinners. This is the, I don't know, is it Bayberry? It was their first, I think, holiday sock yarn. It's the first one I knew about. And then this one is, well, apparently I don't know any of the colorway names. Oh, this is hilarious. It's not clearly on the label. Anyway, so this is the oldest West Yorkshire Spinners holiday colorway I have. This is the stripy one from 2 years ago, maybe. This is Fairy Lights from last year. And this is Robin from this year. I don't personally believe that I'm going to get all those knit this year, but I also had a Cascade colorway that I swear I saw Love Sock Wool Sarah knit up. Oh, this is it has a number, but that's the colorway. And really looking at this is not, like hers looked more like an opal self-patterning, and this is clearly just a striping. But it is super, super festive, and I have paired it with the Cayenne Pepper West Yorkshire Spinners. See, I know that color, Cayenne Pepper. I have whatever the green is that goes with their holiday socks also. But anyway, I went ahead and cast this on. The cuffs are the hardest for me, but we've been watching, well, some shows have come out, Watchmen. But anyway, so I started this sock for myself. Look at this. The stripe is like not variegated, but it's so pretty. You can see it better on that side. I got a lot of strings hanging down, sorry. And I did a 2x2 cuff on this. I never do a 2x2 cuff, but I just thought it would be fun. And this is in my Hopkins Sewing Studio holiday bag. I'm going to show you this bag because it's super cute. She has a great shop. She also sells fiber and yarn now. But that is from her. And my other sock was in my Socksetera. Shan, I'm using your bag. In a Socksetera bag that I got back when she was selling socks. I have a couple more in progress things that I'm actively working on. I have a stack, not near me, apparently. I think they're on top of. Oh yeah, they're near me. I thought they were here. These are my Yarn Hoarder dishcloths, challenge dishcloths. I have 2, 5, I have 8 here. Whoop, 9. I have 9. This one is in colors. I want to make 2 more, but I got really sick of knitting with the orange and cream. This one's going to be for one of my nephews who's going to the University of Tennessee. This is their colors. So, this one feels small too. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, these are their colors. I had knit up a set of 3 for my stepson when we went to visit him. He goes to Virginia Tech, so I had knit cream and orange and burgundy until, I just knit 3 washcloths, but I was really tired of knitting with the plain colors because the variegates are just fun. And so I cast on, I found this yarn when I went to Joann's recently. And these colors match my bedspread. I have a Laura Ashley roses all over it bedspread. I just think those look like Victorian roses. But I'm not loving the way it's knitting up. I am striping it because I really hated the way it looked by itself. And I got what is apparently a jumbo roll of this pink, which I don't think I noticed that when I bought it, but whatever. It goes with some other things I have. This is my cotton stash right there. I'm trying to knit through it, but I keep going, oh, I don't have one this color, so yeah, as you do. And then the other thing that I have been working on is crochet. And if you have been watching for a while, you know that I want to learn to crochet a granny square. And I finally did. This is supposed to be the front of a granny raglan pullover that you may have seen. Christy Glass is the person that I saw wearing it, and I think it's so pretty. And I wanted to do it, so I pulled out some skeins of yarn that weren't doing anything but taking up space. Some solids and a variegate. The variegate was given to me in one of those Christmas holiday swaps. Get your yarn wishes granted. I wanted some heavier weight colors in my stash because I have mostly fingering weight yarn, and now I have, you can't see it down there, but some indie dyed and DKs, and then this is like Patton's Croy and stuff. This is commercial yarn section. But anyway, I like it. I have a neutral from Knit Picks. Oh, that I apparently left downstairs, you guys. I'm so sorry. And apparently there's what was a disaster washcloth. Let's take that out. Oh, I took that pet sitting. Anyway, I got like a caramelly color from Knit Picks because this is rather busy, and I thought I would just get something kind of fallish to tone it down. I'm excited about it. I want to have this finished by Vogue Knitting Live, New York. So by January, I feel like I can conceivably get that done. And I'm crocheting it on a 5.5 millimeter, which I found out that my claim to fame to be able to crochet is just to go up, get bigger hooks. Because I tried and I was miserable. It wasn't working out. My crochet was so tight. It was like super stiff and you couldn't do anything with it. And so I finally just, somebody at a game day told me, go to a game day once a month. Well, whenever my friend has them, we try to go. But went to a game day, and there were two ladies there who, I know one of them knits and crochets, but she's super into crochet right now, and the other one just crochets. And they were like, well, what's your problem? Why can't you crochet? Crochet's easy and you knit all the time. And, you know, they were being helpful. It felt like, oh, I'm stupid. But they said, go up. If your crochet is too stiff, just keep going up hook sizes. It doesn't matter what the pattern says. It's what works for you, which I know that for knitting, but I didn't think about it being the same for crochet. So I went up a few hook sizes, and voila! I'm looking to see what else I have to share with you, because I do have something when we last, but oh, and that's living in a giant fat squirrel bag with bees on it, because I love bees. My dad and my grandfather were beekeepers, so bees are super special to me. I'm sorry, I'm having a leg cramp, which I don't normally have, but I'm sorry I can't get comfy today. I'm in a very different setup since the last time you and I spoke. My tripod that I use literally fell apart. I picked it up and all of the pieces fell off of it. It was pretty funny, but made me sad. And so I have a brand new tripod that I bought right after the other one fell apart, and this is the first time I've used it. I really like it. It's super sturdy. Oh, and it came with this cute on-offy, so I can turn my phone or whatever I'm using as a camera as long as it has Bluetooth on and off. I got a new laptop since the last time we talked because my laptop died. That's not yarny. I also got a spinning wheel since the last time we talked, and I wound this by hand, so it's not going to be nearly as exciting to you, but this is a loop bump. It goes from this color through another pink, and then it starts turning purple. So then it's lavender, and it goes to way dark purple, and then green. And it's fantastic, and I don't remember the name of it. The packaging is downstairs with my spinning wheel, so I apologize. I also apologize if you can hear my birds in the background. It's their squawky time. I know there's merino, and I know there's glitter bombs, and this was actually gifted to me. This loop bump was gifted to me by a super sweet person. I don't know her real name, but I found it in a de-stash on Ravelry, and it was at a super good price. And when I contacted the girl, she lives like 2 miles from me, and she was like, I'll just bring it by. And I was like, okay, let me know when you're coming by. And she just brought it by, and so I didn't have the money outside, and she's like, whatever, welcome to the neighborhood. I think she just wanted it out of her stash and for somebody to love it. And so, so I spun it. It's my first intense chain ply. So I think I practiced chain plying on something. I don't remember what. A little scrap of something I was two plying and ran out of. So you can see gets a little oranger, and then it goes into the purples. And it's not great. It's pretty uneven. Like this part is fairly even, and I like it a lot. It gets much thicker towards the beginning, but I want to make this into a hat dana. I know everyone has probably seen the hat dana by Denise Bayron, and I think it would look super pretty out of the homespun. I have my needles in my bag, and I think because the yarn gets so much thicker, towards the top, that I'm just going to do it all on a size 4 needle. We'll see how that works out. And this is inside a bag by the Scrappy Thread. I love Erica at the Scrappy Threads bags. They're so cute. But I tried to get a rainbow bag in her updates, and I finally got one in this bag. Makes me so happy. She does all kinds of beautiful fabrics and prints and patchwork, and some of her bags aren't patched, but they're still have the different bottoms. They're just beautiful, and you should buy from her. She just moved, so let's give her some love and support. She is knitting on the Arachna sweater right now by Andy Satterlin, and she had started it in plenty of time to be done for Halloween, and then their house sold a lot faster than they thought, and they moved. So she doesn't have whole sweater for Halloween. It doesn't look like, but gosh, it looks really good. You should go see her on Instagrams at least. That's all my works in progress. It's a lot. Oh, I have another finished object you have not seen that I found. I'm in my guest room. I'm cleaning my guest room right now, and I found some finished socks. Well, the ends need to be woven in. These are made out of Mondeem. I know I showed the yarn when I got it, and I got it from the Woolly Thistle. But the outside of the skein was a little darker, I think, because I'm pretty sure I knit these from the outside. But they're matching, and they're my size, so I'm going to wear them. I was trying to decide if I was going to give these away to somebody, but I want to see how the yarn wears. I just did a garter stitch heel. They're a little pointy, but you know, they fit, so whatever. That's great. I had several finished objects there for you. It's almost hat time, you guys. I love knitting hats, and I want to knit my husband a hat. I have yarn wound for that, but I don't think I'm going to cast it on, at least not before my hat Dana. And then I want to knit some more hats because they're fun. But I wanted to talk to you today about a couple of special projects. And I don't know if you do this or if you know anybody who does this, or, I mean, I feel like everybody does this, but when you're dealing with stress or grief, knitting is a really good thing. I have this mitten. This is the only mitten I have ever knit. And I'm sorry, not sorry. This is I believe it's Red Heart. It was called Magicals. And I don't have the label anymore. And the only thing I finished was this one mitten. It came with this like shrug pattern on the ball that took 2 balls. So I bought 2 balls of it. I wish I'd bought way more because this yarn cracks me up. This is the most uneven, like, this is glitter ribbon that's just tied on. But this yarn looked like magic and Mrs. Weasley to me, and I was like, oh, I gotta knit that Mrs. Weasley yarn. And I was gonna make mittens, and I started working on this mitten, and my father, who had leukemia for several years at the time, suddenly got much, much worse. And this mitten wouldn't take me nearly as long to knit now, but I hadn't been knitting very long, and it kept me company in the hospital. And that was the time my dad went to the hospital that he did not make it out. And I have not been able to knit with this yarn. Part of me wants to pull out this mitten and just knit something that I will either wear or use in my home as decor, because, you know, it's got a lot of emotions in it. But I haven't made a decision yet. I just wanted to know, do you have a project that has a lot of emotion in it that makes you not know what to do with the yarn or the object? I mean, I like it because it was very comfy, cozy. It was very comforting to hold and to work through my hands. And as life has progressed and more stressful things have happened, it's been so nice to have my knitting. My mother-in-law, my husband's mother, moved to Virginia a couple of years ago, and she had to move into an assisted living facility. She was not really able to live on her own anymore. And she lived in the same place for over 60 years, and she didn't really transition well to her new environment. But when we would go visit, I would always take knitting because she was a knitter. And she was a knitter who liked interesting knitting, and she liked color work, and she liked texture. And I liked to knit stockinette, and she truly thought that was the most boring thing in the world. And she would look at me and she'd go, how can you just knit stockinette? Or how can you just knit garter? Aren't you bored? And I'm like, well, no, because I can do this in the car, and I can do this on the bus, and I can do this on the train, and I like it. But she kept asking when I was going to knit her things, but she wouldn't really tell me what she wanted. And I knew what would be the best thing in the world would be a cardigan, but at the time, I wasn't feeling confident that I could knit a cardigan for myself, much less her. And then the last couple of years, she lived in a home where it was hot all the time. Like, it was always hot at that assisted living facility to me, but I run warm anyway. And I knit my husband a hat last year that she literally snatched off his head and refused to give back. So I love that. She didn't go out a lot. She didn't need knitwear. She wouldn't wear a shawl. I would have given her a shawl in a heartbeat, but she didn't want those. And so finally last year, for 2018, I knit her the happiest socks that I could. This is Desert Vista Dye Works Frosted Peeps, I think is what it's called. It's a glitter base. She loved these socks, and the people at the assisted living facility put them on her all the time. And unfortunately, one of the things that happened this year is she passed away. And I took them back. My sister-in-law said, "Do you want these?" And I said, "Oh yeah, I really want them." Her feet were slightly smaller than mine. And so right now, what I want to do is just pick back the toe decreases and add to them. And I can't decide if I should put a solid color yarn to kind of be like, I don't know. Like, this is her, and then I'm definitely not a solid color person, but I'm afraid I won't match up the stripes exactly. So I think I'm just going to do some sort of contrast. Ooh, I have some orange, which would certainly be a contrast. I should just do that. Thank you. If you have opinions on that, let me know, because I will not be doing this right this second. But I'm definitely going to rip back the toes and knit them a little bit longer in the foot so that I can wear them. Because they're extra special to me because she did wear them and she loved them. Like, you can't even tell. Like, I'm such a bad person about walking around the house with no shoes on and walking outside. Because I grew up in Alabama. I mean, that's not really why, because my mom used to get mad at me all the time, and I do know better. Messes up your socks. But I walk around sock-footed, and I am really hard on them. But I really want to extend the wear time of these because I was really proud. I love how little heels are. Those mean so much to me that I could have them back. I have some pieces that I have some little throw blankets that she knit over the years. My husband has a sweater which doesn't fit him because she just knit, and if it fit, it fit, and if it didn't, it didn't. And I don't want to take it apart because, that was her love in every stitch, and it's just something precious in his closet. But yeah, so I have that. And do other people do that? Do you get back the things that you knit from someone? I mean, nobody else wanted them. His sister didn't want them. She knits herself, but she doesn't wear knit socks. I don't think she likes the idea of knit socks, and that's fine too. She thinks it's awesome that I knit them. But so I have this yarn and the smitten that I don't know what to do with. So if you have similar things, let me know. Let's talk about it. Or if you have ideas of what I should do. Like, this mitten was always for me. It wasn't for my dad. It was just with me when he passed. So it's kind of a precious thing. It lives right here, so I'm just going to put it back in the stash. It lives with the commercial yarn. So I like to know it's there. And I don't really think there's a problem with that. I'm totally comfortable with that. Yeah. Like I said, I started spinning. My hand spun's right here. This is my favorite so far that I have spun. This is from Braid of Offred. Of Fred. I'm sorry. I did read the book, and I can't think of the name of it now. You know what I'm talking about. There's a book and then a series. The book was very disappointing. So if you haven't read the book and you've watched the series and you know what I'm talking about, just watch the series. I haven't watched the series. I read the book and it kind of upset me. This is reds and blacks and beautiful sparkles. And I have enough to knit a cowl or a hat. And the selfish part of me wants to knit this and keep it for myself, but I also, these are my sister's colors, and I have a super good friend. These are her colors, so we'll see. And then this is like one of the first things that I spun up. This was a unicorn. These were some unicorn batlings. Let's say it. I don't know now. I didn't get very much. Maybe it was just like 2 ounces of fiber. I'm pretty sure it was labeled unicorns though. And I didn't really realize when I first started that I could put stuff in Ravelry. This is some beautifulness that I thought looked like pastel-y Christmas colors. I know what I'm going to do with this, and I'm going to surprise you. And then these were some Rolags. I got to see Rolags on some podcasts and things, and so this was a pastel rainbow Rolag set that I'm pretty sure is going to be something for my goddaughter, because any kind of rainbow is right up her alley. And it's really soft. It's cotton and tencel and some merino, I'm pretty sure. I know it has, maybe it's just tencel and merino. I don't know. It's an interesting blend. And speaking of spinning, I didn't just buy one spinning wheel. I bought 2. Well, I ordered last year, and I may have talked about it because I ordered it, I think, in December. I joined the Kickstarter for the electric eel wheel mini, the new one. And I knew that it wasn't supposed to come until July, and I was totally fine with that until I just got obsessed with people and their spinning. And then my friend Leslie came and we went to Maryland Sheep and Wool, and there were these amazing people from the Merlin Tree Company selling this beautiful little tiny wheel, perfect for travel. It'll fit in an overhead compartment. You can carry it around in a boat tote. It's called the Hitchhiker. Hi, Douglas Adams. And I bought it. My hitchhiker's name is Arthur. And I love him. He's amazing. He's what I spun all those yarns on and plied them. I have a teeny ball of sample fiber I bought. And then I know now what I did really badly wrong was I plied it back in the same direction that I spun it. And it was a wild tangled mess, you guys. But I didn't know right when I did it. I think Leslie from the Knit Girls did it, and when she talked about what her yarn looked like, I'm like, that's what I did wrong. But all this other stuff I was more careful with. Spinning is a true art form, but let me tell you, it is just fun. And if you think you want to try it and you can afford the eel wheel, the nano money, I think it's right at $100 and you get extra bobbins. The Kickstarter one that I bought was the $100 one, and I got 7 bobbins and the adapter to make it plug into the wall. Oh no, the extra thing I got was a USB port, plug, whatever. I don't know. It's great. I love it. A lot of people, there is a support group on Facebook. However, dropped my on off button. I would take that with a grain of salt because some people, I am normally the person, all right, I'm so distracted. I am normally the person who gets things and gets frustrated super easy. But I got this and I did expect it to work, but I also did expect that there would be a learning curve because I don't exactly know what I'm doing. So for that reason alone, I gave myself a break and did not lose my my patience with my little wheel, whose name is Bo, because my husband was like, "Oh, you got to name it? What about Bo for Bo Nano?" um, he's goofy, and I was like, "That's perfect. I love it." So I have Arthur and Bo, and I adore them both. I'm getting itchy to spin again because I bought a lot of fiber at a festival recently, but I've been wanting to get some stuff off my needles. This year has been, I think we've moved past all the yarny crafty stuff, and I'm going to talk to you about my year and tell you. Sorry for the interruption. I just had a phone call and nobody ever calls, so who thought I would have that? Yeah, so I mentioned my mother-in-law passed. We had a very busy tax season at work in the spring, and it was very stressful. And I got sick in March, maybe, because I didn't really know what was happening. I just knew I was tired all the time. I was working a lot of hours, and I was really stressed out, but that's normal. You know, we have these brief periods of high stress, lots of work, and then we get a few weeks to recover, and life is pretty darn good. I love the people that I work with, but I was coming to work tired. I was going home tired, and even the days that I could try to sleep, like no amount of sleep was enough. By the time we'd been off work 3 days after the 15th, I'd been at home and slept for 3 days. Like, I would wake up in the morning because I like to keep a fairly regular routine. I would ask my husband to please make sure I was awake before he left. I would literally stumble downstairs and sleep on the couch all day until time for him to come home. And I would run upstairs and put on clothes because I didn't want him to think I'd been asleep on the couch all day. So after 3 or 4 days of nothing but sleeping and not feeling any better, like I wasn't sick to my stomach, I was just exhausted, and I thought, oh man, I'm going crazy. I'm just having some mental breakdown. I don't know. Like, I don't know what I thought was happening. I was concerned I needed blood work. I said, maybe it's my hormones. I'm getting to that age where things happen, and they just happen, and sometimes hormones or, something can help you, and sometimes they can't. I was like, am I going through the change, and it's going to be awful for like 3 years now? I don't know. So I go to the doctor. I can't get an appointment with my regular doctor because she's on vacation, and I love her so much, and that was fine. I'm so sorry, you guys. I don't know why my legs keep cramping. That was fine, and I went to see this awesome nurse practitioner, and she's like, have you ever had mono? And I think in parts of the world it's referred to as Epstein-Barr, and I apologize if that's wrong. But I said, no. And she's like, from what you're telling me, you have mono, so we're going to do a test. So we did all these tests, all this blood work, like, I went home, and she's like, you just need to rest and drink lots of fluids until I call you back. And so my test results were supposed to be back in 2 days, and that was going to be the weekend, and she wasn't going to be back until like Monday anyway. And she comes in, and she's like, she calls me like Monday or Tuesday of the next week, and she's like, you are really sick. And I was like, I am really sick. She's like, no, honey, you're starting to recover from mono, but your numbers are super high. And I said, what does that mean? And she said, that means you're just really sick. And I was like, where did I get mono? And she's like, I don't know. Because the way it's transmitted, like, unless my husband gets it, I shouldn't get it. And she said that really it's assumed that most people over 40 are immune to it, which is why usually young people get it. I'm over 40. But I got it, and I was so sick. And I'm honestly having trouble being as active as I was before I got it. I'm working really hard to get there again. It's just my body was so drained of everything that it was just crazy. I also went to the dentist for the first time recently. Not for the first time ever, but I haven't had a dentist since I've lived in Northern Virginia because I couldn't find one that. I mean, I'm a big baby. I have to have some sort of sedation if they're going to have to do anything. And I was having some issues and I was terrified, but my lovely sister-in-law told me of a dentist who uses sedate. I really just want to make sure I have laughing gas if they have to drill or anything, because that I've had that my entire dental career. Um, it's never been unavailable to me if I was having some sort of service that was not a cleaning. And so I went to the dentist to find. I have a lot of those really old silver fillings, and they're all damaged. And so I have an appointment tomorrow to go start having some crowns put in. And I'll have 2 sessions of crown work, one this year and one next year. Hopefully, I can wait until next year. My dental insurance will pay some more on it. And then I'll be all good. So that is what is happening with me. I have missed you guys so much. Also, if you are feeling some FOMO for not going to Rhinebeck or something, I recommend that you toss the stash or touch all of your yarn, because I've been doing that the last couple of days and I feel like I don't need any yarn. I want some yarn, like there are some specific needs. Well, if I had this and this to go with this, then I could make a sweater, but I have a lot of yarn. And I have a lot of plans. So I think I counted, I have 12 sweater quantities of yarn. Some of those are going to be for shorter sweaters because it's just what I have. But I'm going to try to knit up some of those sweaters, and when I do, I will be sharing them with you. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. And my previous goals were every 2 weeks, so I'm going to endeavor to every 2 weeks bring you another podcast. Thank you so much, and have a good day.